Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen J. Allen, here to talk about an article by Olivia Grady. If you had to think of someone who was the ideal example of what it means to be a good person, who would it be? It would probably be someone who lives their life to help the disabled. It would probably be good for society to help that person in return, right? Unfortunately, the government and the Service Employees International Union are fighting against that. In Minnesota, home care providers, also known as personal care assistants, PCAs, are individuals, usually family members, who take care of disabled persons at home and who are employed by those for whom they care. They receive a small Medicaid subsidy to assist in their efforts. In May 2013, after the longest legislative debates in state history, the Minnesota legislature passed the Individual Providers of Direct Support Services Representation Act, and Governor Mark Dayton signed the bill into law, declaring that for the purposes of the Public Employment Labor Relations Act, individual home care providers shall be considered executive branch state employees. In other words, PCAs, people who provide home care to the disabled, usually family members, are state employees in Minnesota, but only for the purposes of their possible representation by unions and collective bargaining. And so in August 2014, after a vote in which only 21.7% of Minnesota PCAs participated and just only half of them voted yes, SEIU Healthcare Minnesota became the exclusive bargaining representation for all the PCAs. If they bargained successfully and got PCAs more money, hey, not so bad. So what if most of them didn't vote for the union? Unfortunately, all the SEIU ended up doing was collecting dues from PCAs and eating up 3% of the subsidy they get and need to survive on. Chris Green is a 5-year PCA in the Lakeville area of Minnesota. The mother of a daughter with a disability, she's taken care of her daughter for over 24 years. She appreciates the Medicaid subsidy. She does not want the union to come between her and the care of her daughter. She wrote in a newspaper op-ed, "On June 10, 1992, I gave birth to my daughter Meredy. She was a beautiful baby girl. My husband Dave and I couldn't have been happier or prouder. When we were told that Meredy suffered from Rubinstein-Taybi syndrome, we knew we were in for some unique challenges, but we also knew having her in our lives was more than worth it. 5 years ago," she wrote, "I joined a Minnesota program and became a personal care assistant, PCA, to my daughter. Though I had been caring for her entire life, joining this PCA program allowed us to receive a modest Medicaid subsidy to assist in her care. It also allowed Meredy to live at home instead of in a government-run institution. My husband and I consider this public support a generous gift that we have not taken for granted and for which we are very grateful. Meredy continues to live at home with us, where we know she is happy and safe under our care, instead of with a stranger who may or may not have her best interests at heart. I don't need a union to help me take care of my daughter, and I don't need a union taking 3% of our money." Unquote. Green sued the SEIU, and the case made it all the way to the Supreme Court. But with only 8 members on the court, after Justice Scalia's death, the court deadlocked. Unfortunately, decertifying a union is much more challenging than certifying one. But Green is trying. If this is an issue that affects you, check out mnpca.org to join her fight. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up below and hit the links on your right to subscribe to our channel and read the full story on our website. Thanks for watching.